Liverpool knows that with just under half a season to play, there is not a huge amount of margin for error if they are to squeeze into the Champions League places. That makes the game with Newcastle United a six-pointer, with the Reds having won the reverse fixture 2-1 at Anfield thanks to a late goal from a Liverpool victory at St James Park would move men to within 6 points of Newcastle with a game in hand to be played, and within 4 points of Spurs, who would also have played a game more. Brighton and Fulham, both currently ahead of Liverpool, play each other just before the Reds kick off in the northeast, meaning that at least one of those sides will drop points, making this an ideal chance to catch up. These are the teams that some of our writers would select for the vital clash with Newcastle, which comes just 4 days before the huge clash with Van Dijk. Straight back in Liverpool needs to win here if they are to catch up with the top 4 places, so there can be no mistakes made, and no eyes can be on the big clash with on Tuesday night. Virgil van Dijk comes into my back 4. If he needs a rest, he can have that against Crystal Palace next weekend, after playing against Newcastle and the Spanish Giants. Joel Matip edges out Joe Gomez, but it could reasonably be either selected, and the full backs are the full backs. In midfield, it's the same again from Monday night. Can come off on the hour mark to get a rest ahead of Tuesday, but there is no reason to change things beyond that. And the same goes in attack, where Darwin Núñez can be on the left and Cody Gakpo through the middle. My starting 11: Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Henderson, Bajcetic, Salah, Gakpo, Núñez. Predicted scoreline: 2-1 to Liverpool. One thing to watch: more counter-attacking goodness from the Reds. Fabinho back out. I am in full agreement that this game needs to be considered solely on its own merits. It's arguably touch and go whether Liverpool is more likely to qualify for next season's Champions League by finishing in the top 4 or winning this season's iteration of the tournament, but Klopp cannot give up on the former path just yet. In defense, the question is whether to restore Van Dijk straight away, and I think the answer is yes. Liverpool has strong depth in that position on paper, but Matip, Gomez and even the injured Ibrahima Konate have all looked noticeably shakier in the Dutchman's absence. His partner for this one is up for debate, but I'd lean toward Matip. There's no doubt in my mind that Stefan Bajcetic should keep his place in the midfield. While Fabinho looked a bit better against Everton, he was still late to a number of challenges, and I'd be inclined to try the Spaniard back in the deeper midfield role, with Henderson and Naby Keïta ahead of him. That could be a good trial run before, with Klopp set for a big call there. Up top, Klopp has worn me down. I'll stop trying to put Núñez through the middle. He was effective from a wide base in the derby, and Gakpo had his best game yet through the middle. Diogo Jota can be summoned from the bench. My starting 11: Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Bajcetic, Henderson, Keïta, Salah, Gakpo, Núñez. Predicted scoreline: 1-1 draw. One thing to watch: Núñez to find the net. One change from Monday: Virgil van Dijk is straight into my back 4 too. There shouldn't be any question about that. I'm going with Joe Gomez alongside him because he outperformed Joel Matip in that stretch of games when Van Dijk was out. I'd probably keep the same midfield, even though it seems harsh on the informed Naby Keïta. The 3 players in there should be given the opportunity to build on their performances against Everton on Monday night. And I wouldn't change the front line either. Cody Gakpo might well have lost his place had he not scored and played well in the derby, with Roberto Firmino and Diogo Jota back in contention. But I'd use those two as weapons off the bench here. Darwin Núñez has also been good enough to maintain his place in the side. I wouldn't necessarily have an eye on, because this is a crucial game as we look to revive our top 4 hopes. My starting 11: Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Henderson, Bajcetic, Salah, Gakpo, Núñez. Predicted scoreline: 1-1. One thing to watch: can Liverpool break down the best defence in the